The pasuk in Parshas Mishpatim says as follows: "V'anshe kodesh tiyun li." You should be people of holiness to me, Hashem says. Uvasar basadet reifa lo sochelu. And if you find meat in the field, it's considered to be treif. It was not slaughtered in the appropriate halachic way. It wasn't shechted. You're not allowed to eat that meat. La kelev tashlichuno. So you should throw it to the dogs. So Rashi happens to comment and says that the reason why you throw it to the dogs is as a reward to the dogs. Tein lo scharo. We give a reward to the dogs because the dogs did not bark, as the pasuk says, "L'chol bnei Yisrael le'echaratz kelev l'shono." That when it came to the makas bechoros, the death of the firstborn, the final plague that Hashem brought upon the Mitzrim, the Torah points out that every dog was absolutely silent on that night so as not to disturb anything that was transpiring. And in appreciation for that, Hashem gives the dog the carcass of the animal that dies and is not shechted, cannot be consumed, cannot be eaten by a Jew. But I want to focus on the beginning of the pasuk. The Anshe Kodesh Chiyun Li, and a beautiful, beautiful thought from Rabbi Nachum Mendel of Kotsk that I think applies to us and to our lives in a very clear way. And he explains as follows. He says, Rotze HaKodesh Baruch Hu, Hashem wants be'anshe Kodesh. Hashem wants people of holiness. So he says, focus on the words here. Ve'anshe, and people of Kodesh, of holiness. Why doesn't it say the opposite, holy people? So the answer is that he says that a person HaKodesh Shalachem Enoshi, that the holiness that we should have is as people. Well, what does that mean? What it means is that the Kedusha of a person is based on being a person, not based upon being an angel, a malach. He says Hashem has plenty of malachim. Hashem has plenty of angels. He can make more angels if he wants. But he has a limited amount of human beings that he brings into this world, and he asks for us to strive and attain holiness in our lives. Now, when we hear the word holiness, generally speaking, we look the other way because we think it's something that's impossible. We think that a concept of holiness is something which is so foreign to us. And I think that's because it's embedded within us, and the idea that we make mistakes. And when we make mistakes, we feel that we're tainted. We feel that we're dirty. We feel that there is no way back from the purity that we had as children, or the purity that we had before we sinned. And perhaps the message that the Yikotzker Zatzal wants to send to us is that we have to look at ourselves with a sense of self-compassion and realize that Hashem placed this pasuk in the order of people of Kodesh because Hashem understands that we are people. Hashem understands that we are not malachim. All Hashem wants from us is to try and attain holiness in our lives. And what that means is that we struggle. And He knows we struggle. And what it means is that we don't turn our back on our own sense of spirituality because of the fact that we struggle. It means that we overcome. We continue pushing, we continue to strive, and that even when we make a mistake and we have a setback, we get back up and we try again and we overcome again. And if we have another setback, we get up and we try again. That's what it means by Anshe Kodesh, people of Kodesh, people of holiness. Hashem is looking for us to be human beings that He knows and understands. He understands our strengths and He understands our shortcomings. He understands that we make mistakes and that we're not perfect. But He wants us to strive to attain a sense of holiness that we incorporate into our daily lives. And that holiness can mean different things to each individual, all of us understanding our own individual challenges. But as long as we strive, as long as we want, as long as we desire to attain holiness, that Hashem is with us. And Hashem tells us, just keep on trying. Be Anshe Kodesh. Strive our entire lives to be people of holiness, to be people who others could understand and see are individuals who are looking to grow on a spiritual level and become closer to what it is that Hashem really wants from us. So it's important for us to have self-compassion when it comes to our spiritual lives, and to realize that we're not perfect, realize that we make mistakes, but realize that Hashem knows that we're people. He knows that we're human, and that He's with us in the struggle. All He wants us to do is to keep on trying to overcome. May we be zoche to live lives in which we can see ourselves as striving to become Anshe Kodesh, people of holiness. Thank you for listening, and have a good Shabbos.